chemistry that will come as a surprise to you. Good evening, everyone. Today you're going to learn something very interesting in chemistry that will come as a surprise to you. Very interesting technique in chemistry. So today you're going to do chemistry in bridge course. I now invite Chandrika ma'am to take over the session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone, students. Welcome to Jatadhara Educational Technology free online bridge course. So, a bridge course, Bridging the Gap, Mastering Chemistry Essentials, which is sponsored by Jatadhara Educational Technology for free. So, today we are going to learn about chemical compounds. So, I hope you all know the chemical compounds. You can see here the examples. Water, H2O, common salt, NaCl, carbon dioxide, CO2. Can you name a few? Can you name a few in the chat box? So a chemical compound is a substance formed from two or more elements, chemical elements, right? So these are some of the examples. So can you name a few examples other than these? Can you please try? Put it in the chat box. Yes, please put it in the chat box. I'll give you 1 minute time to think about it. In 10th textbook, you have gone through many chemical compounds. Mention at least a few. Yes, students, I'm waiting for your response. Can you mention a few chemical compounds in the chat box? Yes, okay. Pastor of blood is CaSO4, half H2O. Okay, good. Good, Shashank. Still, yes, gypsum, CaSO4, 2H2O. Okay, good. Good, Shashank. I'm getting only response from Shashank. Yes, please, everyone try to answer. Everyone, please try to answer. Yes, CaCO3, calcium carbonate. Very good. Very good, Shashank. We have learned many like BeCl2, NH3. Yes, CaO, calcium oxide. Very good. So, can you list compounds, chemical compounds that contain H, Li, Al, CO, magnesium, etc. So, the compounds should contain hydrogen, lithium, boron, aluminium, carbon, oxygen, and magnesium. Right? So, but can you list all the compounds that are formed from given elements? Say H, Li, and boron. Yes? Any chemical compounds that contain hydrogen, lithium, and boron formed by given elements. Yes, let me know in the chat section. Yes, H2O. Okay. But the compounds should be formed only with H, hydrogen, lithium, and boron. We have such compounds also. Can you please list that compounds like lithium hydride? So it is having hydrogen and lithium. Example, yes. Okay, we can name some, but how to be sure that only those compounds exist? We can try. మనం ఇంకా ట్రై చేయొచ్చు. లైక్ BH అని LIB అని ట్రై చేయొచ్చు. కానీ మనకు అవి ఉన్నాయి, ఆ కంపౌండ్స్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అవుతున్నాయి అనడానికి ఒక రీజన్ కావాలి, రైట్? ఎవ్రీథింగ్ నీడ్స్ అ ప్రూఫ్. So that we have to prove that that compound exists. So adi elaga, how to find? So let us find out a technique to list all the compounds. Okay, so we shall find a technique. So these are the elements: hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, calcium, right? So if you see here, helium, neon, and argon, right? They have, here is the technique. All the elements want to have the number of electrons that inert gases have. For that, they either lose of electrons, lose or gain of electrons. Right. So octet rule, you all remember the octet rule. That means the valency electron, it should contain 8 electrons. So that is the octet rule. Then the element is said to be stable element. All the inert gases are stable elements. So depending on the valency, we can list the compounds. So here helium, it has 2 electrons, neon 10 electrons, argon 18 electrons. Right, they have a stable electronic configuration in their valency shell. So the serial number gives the number of electrons. You can see here 2, 10, 10 electrons, 18, 18 electrons. So the serial number which you are able to see, it gives the number of electrons of the element. So if you see here hydrogen, it gained 1 electron. Now just see how I'm writing which elements lose the electron, which element gains the electron to get the octet configuration or a stable configuration in the valency shell. So lithium lose 1 electron. Beryllium, it loses 2 electrons. Boron loses 3 electrons if you compare with helium, right? Next, coming to fluorine, it gains 1 electron. It loses 1 electron. So magnesium, can you guess, students? Can you guess in the chat box? So what about magnesium? It will lose or gain electrons. How many electrons? Can you please guess? Can you please guess in the chat box? Yes, Shashank, very good. So we will see for oxygen, it gains 2 electrons. Yes, magnesium loses 2 electrons. Very good, Shashank. So only Shashank is listening to the class. Yes, Shruti and Manisha. Please respond in the chat box. Next, coming to nitrogen. Can you say about nitrogen? How many electrons it will gain? How many electrons it should gain to get the octet configuration? Yes, absolutely it is it gains 3 electrons. In the same way, aluminium, it loses 3 electrons. Right? So next coming to this side. So chlorine, it has to gain 1 electron. Students, please direct your answers to Jet Chandrika. Coming to chloron, ఇప్పుడు క్లోరాన్ చూసినట్లయితే చూడండి ఇక్కడ మనకు ఆర్గాన్ 18 ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్. సో 18 ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ రావాలి అంటే ఎన్ని ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ గెయిన్ చేసుకోవాలి క్లోరిన్ ఎన్ని ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ గెయిన్ చేసుకోవాలి? Yes, absolutely. It should gain 1 electron. Right, it should gain 1 electron. Next, potassium, it has to lose 1 electron. Right. And calcium, it has to lose 2 electrons. In the same way, sulfur, it has to gain 2 electrons. Phosphorus, it has to gain 3 electrons. Silicon, and you can see here, the sodium, magnesium, and aluminium. Sodium should lose 1 electron. Magnesium, 2 electrons. Aluminium, 3 electrons. Right? And if you see for carbon and silicon, so they have to gain 4 electrons. Right? Carbon and silicon can gain 4 electrons or lose 4 electrons, but gaining is easy. So that's why they gain 4 electrons to get the octet configuration in their valency shell. Right? So why gaining is easy, we will learn in next upcoming classes in chemical bonding. Right? So all of you write this in your book. Yes, Manisha. Yes, all of you write this in your book. So hydrogen has only 1 electron. Hydrogen ఒకటే ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ఉంది కాబట్టి కొన్నిసార్లు ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ లూజ్ అవుతుంది, కొన్నిసార్లు గెయిన్ అవుతుంది. So it may gain 1 electron or lose 1 electron. So this is how you have to know which element loses the electron, which element will gain the electron to maintain the octet configuration in the valency shell. Right? So please note down. Please note down. I'll give you few minutes. Please note down. సో మనకి ఇనర్ట్ గ్యాసెస్ ఎలిమెంట్స్ తెలిస్తే వాటి పైన కింద ఉన్న ఎలిమెంట్స్ కి ఎన్ని లూజ్ అవుతాయి, ఏవి గెయిన్ అవుతాయి అనేవి ఈజీగా కనిపెట్టొచ్చు. Yes, I hope all of you are noting it down. Yes. We will know more information about this in the further coming classes also in chemical bonding. Yes, okay. Now let us move to the next slide. You can take a screenshot, make a screenshot. I'll move to the next slide. Please make a screenshot. Yes. Next, coming to technique to list chemical compounds. So there is a technique to list chemical compounds. So let us see. That means how we have to make a chemical compound. Look at the table and form pairs. So choose one atom that loses an electron and one atom that gains an electron. Okay, electron lose aye atom, okay, electron gain aye atom ni first manam kanipettali. Okay, vaatini consider cheddam. So we have seen that K loses one electron and chlorine will gain one electron, right? So K gives one electron to chlorine. So దీనికి ఒక electron కావాలి. దీనికి ఒక ఎలక్ట్రాన్ లూజ్ చేసుకోవాలి. సో ఈ పొటాషియం క్లోరిన్ కి ఆ ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ఇస్తుంది, రైట్? సో K gives one electron to chlorine. Then our chemical compound will be KCl. So in that case, KCl will be formed. So can you guess few other compounds from the table? So ఇంతకు ముందు టేబుల్ చూపించాను కదా, దాంట్లో వన్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ఏది లూజ్ అవుతుంది, వన్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ఏది గెయిన్ అవుతుంది చూసుకొని ఆ కెమికల్ కాంపౌండ్స్ ని మీరు రాయండి, ట్రై చేయండి. ట్రై టు రైట్. I'll give you few minutes to answer, few seconds to answer. Think it. ఒక ఎలక్ట్రాన్ గెయిన్ చేయాలి, ఒక ఎలక్ట్రాన్ లూజ్ చేయాలి. ఒక ఆటమ్ లూజ్ వన్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్, ఒక ఆటమ్ గెయిన్ వన్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ఉండాలి. సో అవి రెండింటిని మనం కంబైన్ చేసి ఒక కెమికల్ కాంపౌండ్ ని ప్రిపేర్ చేయొచ్చు. Yes. Yes. Now we shall see the compounds. So మనం నార్మల్ గా ఇంతకు ముందు చూసాం కదా, హైడ్రోజన్ will gain one or lose one. Okay. Other than that, lithium loses one electron, fluorine gains one electron, sodium will gain one electron. Right. So మనం ఫస్ట్ గెయిన్ అయ్యేవి లూజ్ అయ్యే ఆటమ్స్ ఏ ఉన్నాయో గుర్తుపట్టాలి. So you can see here, select one that loses an electron and one that gains electron. So KF, yes, very good, Manisha. NaCl, good. But yes, NaCl is correct. Very good. So KF, potassium fluoride. KH, potassium hydride. LiCl, lithium chloride. Lithium loses one electron and chlorine gains one electron. So LiCl, LiF, lithium and fluoride. Fluorine, right? Lithium fluoride. Fluorine gains one electron, lithium loses one electron. So they both can combine to form a chemical compound. And LiH, lithium hydride. In the same way, NaCl, as one of you said, it is NaCl is absolutely right. Sodium chloride. Na loses one electron and Cl gains one electron. NaF, sodium fluoride. Next, NaH, sodium hydride. And HCl, hydrogen chloride. Next, HF, hydrogen fluoride. So, the exact explanation for this we will study in chemical bonding again. Okay. So, by this, I think you all understood how we formed a chemical compound by the atoms which one gain electron and one lose electrons. Hope everyone has understood. Let me know in the chat section. Did you understand the concept? Yes. Good. Let us move to the next. Chemical compounds. Look at the table and form page. Choose one atom that loses an electron and one that gains two electrons. So potassium, okay, electron lose అవుతుంది. That choose up. Oxygen, it gains two electrons. Okay. So ఈ పొటాషియం కి ఇక్కడ చూడండి హియర్ పొటాషియం ఆక్సిజన్ కి ఇవ్వాలి అని అంటే టూ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ఉండాలి. సో టూ కే ఆటమ్స్, టూ పొటాషియం ఆటమ్స్ కెన్ గివ్ వన్ ఎలక్ట్రాన్ ఈచ్ టు one oxygen atom. So the chemical formula will be K2O, right? ఇక్కడ టూ పొటాషియం ఆటమ్స్ మనకి టూ ఎలక్ట్రాన్స్ ని ఒకటే ఆక్సిజన్ ఆటమ్ కి ఇస్తున్నాయి, right? So it will form K2O. So can you guess few other compounds from the table? Make it fast. Yes. Oh. CO2. You are saying CO2. Yes, H2O is right. CO2 is not correct because carbon, it gains four electrons. We need first element it should be ready to lose one electron. So electron lose ayevi, yes. Lithium, sodium, potassium. Right, either one electron will lose outside. And hydrogen also. H2O is right, Manisha. Try some more. Try some more. Within few seconds, I will reveal. Shashank. Okay, but it should be Na2O. Two sodium electrons ఇస్తే ఆక్సిజన్ కి అప్పుడు అది ఫామ్ అవుతుంది. Na అనేది it loses only one electron, right? So 2Na మనం ఒక ఆక్సిజన్ కి ఇవ్వాలి. You are right, but it should be Na2O. So select one that loses an electron and one that gains two electrons. So K2O, K2S, Li2O, Li2S, Na2O. As you said, it should be Na2O. Chemical name correct is sodium oxide, but the formula is Na2O. Na2S, H2O, H2S, and so on, right? And further, we will read the explanation about this compounds while studying in chemical bonding. Next, coming to look at the table and form page. Choose one atom that loses two electrons and one atom that gains two electrons. So atom, okay, atom two electrons lose చేసుకోవాలి, gain చేసుకోవాలి. So calcium which loses two electrons, oxygen gains two electrons. So here Ca atom gives two electrons to O. Okay, Ca atom two electrons ni oxygen ki iచ్చేస్తుంది, right? So it forms CaO. CaO will be formed, calcium oxide, right? So can you guess few other compounds from the table? Select one that loses two electrons and one that gains two electrons. Few seconds, make it fast. We are running out of time. Beryllium loses two electrons, oxygen gains two electrons. Magnesium loses two electrons. Yes, we shall see. Yes, CAS, calcium sulfide. Next, MgS, MgO, BeO, BeS. Yes, CaO, that is already explained, right? So in this way, we can write the compounds for the elements that are losing 2 electrons and are ready to gain 2 electrons, right? Let us move to the next. Look at the table and form pairs. Choose one atom that loses 2 electrons and one atom that gains 1 electron. So Cl loses 2 electrons, Cl gains 1 electron. Here Ca atom gives 2 electrons to 2Cl. Okay, 2Cl atoms ki iవ్వాలి. 2Cl atoms ki ఒక Ca atom మాత్రమే 2 electrons ఇస్తుంది. So it will be CaCl2. Right? So can you guess few of the compounds from the table? Select one atom that loses 2 electrons and one that gains 1 electron. Here are few: CaF2, MgF2, BeF2, BeCl2, MgCl2, CaH2, MgH2, and BeH2. So if you see here, this all Ca, Mg, Be, ivanni enti, it can lose 2 electrons. This F and Cl, H, these can gain 1 electron. So e 2 atoms ki oka 2 lose ఏ atom అయితే 2 electrons lose అవుతుందో వాటిని మనము 1 electron gain చేసే ఎలిమెంట్ కి ఇస్తున్నాం. Right? Let us move to the next one. Look at the table and form pairs. Choose one atom that loses 2 electrons and one atom that gains 3 electrons. So calcium loses 2 electrons and nitrogen gains 1 electron. Can you guess the formula? Sorry students, here nitrogen gains 3 electrons. It is nitrogen gains 3 electrons. Sorry for the mistake. So the formula is Ca3N2 will be formed. Yes, nitrogen gains 3 electrons. So the chemical formula will be Ca3N2 will be formed. So one atom that loses 2 electrons and one atom that gains 3 electrons. So can you guess few other compounds from the table? You have to select one that loses 2 and one that gains 3. So here are some: Ca3N2, Mg3N2, Be3N2, Ca3P2, Mg3P2, Be3P2. See, these are some chemical compounds. So we will study the explanation in chemical bonding in further classes. So we shall discuss how to form more compounds in the next class, right? So we shall continue with more interesting concepts in the next class. Thank you so much. And don't forget to subscribe our channel, Jatadhara Educational Technology.